Hey, welcome to This Mama's House. Today I'm taking you along while I do some cooking for my large family. Hey guys, if you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Tabitha. I am a wife of 10 years, a homeschool mama to 6, and on this channel I love to share all sorts of homemaking motivation, cooking, cleaning, grocery hauls, and days in my life. Today I'm sharing a bunch of cooking and recipes with you. I have some things that I want to prepare ahead of time, as well as just making our dinner for the night. So come along and join me. If you're new, I'd love to have you subscribe. I post a new video every single week and I would love to have you. Today's video is sponsored by Seed. More about them in just a little bit. The first recipe that I am making today is my taco seasoning. So I am making a quadruple batch of this recipe. All of the recipes for whatever I'm making today will be down in the description box. This taco seasoning is one of my most popular blog posts. Currently, I am actually redoing my blog and completely changing it up. So hopefully that will be done by Easter. That is my goal, to kind of relaunch my blog with a bunch of new recipes and blog posts by Easter. But it's still there, so I'll have it linked down below. I used to buy the packets of taco seasoning, and that's how we would always make tacos. And then I started learning more about food and all of the ingredients that are unnecessary and unhealthy that go into our food sometimes. And taco seasoning is one of those things that has like anti-caking agent and just unnecessary things that aren't good for you. So that's when I started making this seasoning from home, and I realized that it tastes so much better than the store-bought, and it's more cost-effective. You can buy all the seasoning you need, use them for all sorts of different recipes, and it just lasts so much longer. I get my seasonings in bulk from Costco, and then I just fill up these cute little mason jars, and that's what I keep in my spice cabinet. So as I'm making the recipe, I'm also filling my jars, just kind of thinking ahead and making sure that all of my spices are stocked. This seasoning is my husband's favorite. He loves tacos. He actually eats them for breakfast sometimes. And this batch will last us quite a while. But even just the single batch that's on the recipe card, that will probably last at least a few meals, depending on how much meat you use. We usually cook at least 2 pounds for our family whenever we're making tacos. And then I'm just storing it in a airtight container. So I'm using a mason jar, and this has never gone bad. We use it up pretty quickly, but I think it would be shelf stable for a really long time. And it's so delicious. You guys definitely have to give it a try. It was funny, my little toddler came over and grabbed the measuring spoons off of the counter as I was making this, and he licked them, and he must have gotten a big lick of cumin or paprika or something. He made the funniest face, and I told him it's taco seasoning, and he was like, oh, and then he just kept licking it. So I guess he thought it was good, but look how pretty it is, and now we're stocked for a while. Taking a break from the cooking to tell you about today's video sponsor, Seed. If you don't know what Seed is, it is a probiotic supplement, the best probiotic on the market. Not all probiotics are created equal. Seed is by far the best one out there. I've done a lot of research on this topic, and I have come to the conclusion that Seed has just changed the game in the probiotic industry. If you type into Google probiotics, you're going to be just overwhelmed with the amount of results from all the different types of supplements and all the different information out there. So let me just save you the time and let you know that Seed is the best. If you are interested in the research and the nitty-gritty details, you can check out their Instagram. They make it so easy to learn all about it right on their Instagram stories. I first heard about Seed through one of my very best friends, and she got me interested in it, And when I finally started taking it, I noticed a bunch of health improvements. Not only can it help with your digestion, your heart health, but it can also help with your skin, bloating, and all of those amazing functions that are so important to your body. What makes Seed so different is that it has a special capsule that is actually 2 capsules in one. So it's designed to get the prebiotics to you first and the probiotics right where you need them. The amazing capsule alone makes this so much better than any other probiotic that I've ever seen. I have noticed an improvement in my digestion as well as less bloating. I take this consistently every single day, and I have for almost 2 years now. I love the packaging. You get your glass canister that you keep, and then the refills come in a compostable pouch. If you are interested in trying the DS1 Daily Symbiotic Probiotic and Prebiotic Supplement, then jump down to the description box, click my link for 25% off. Thanks so much to Seed for sponsoring this video. This is a product that I use and love, and I think you guys will too. So definitely take advantage of that 25% off by clicking the link down below and using my code. So we were running low on granola, so the next recipe I'm going to make is granola. And it's funny because the last cooking video I did, I made granola as well, but this time it turned out so amazing. It was probably my absolute best granola I've ever made. So tasty. But yeah, I definitely encourage you guys to check out Seed. I have like monthly bloating. I don't know if that's what you want to call it, but a certain time of the month, every month, I get bloated, and sometimes it's to the point where I actually look like I'm pregnant, and people ask me if I'm pregnant. I'm definitely not pregnant. I would love to have another baby, but that's just not happening at the moment. So yeah, if you guys have any other tips besides these amazing probiotics, I do see a big difference and improvement when I take them regularly, but I would love to know any other tips so that I don't have to be embarrassed anymore when people ask me. I noticed in some of the shots, even in this video, that I'm like, ugh, it's that time of the month, I look kind of pregnant. But anyways, this granola recipe is so good, and it's customizable. I actually got it from Becky on her channel, Acre Homestead. She has an awesome base recipe, which I love to follow, and then I like to just change it up with whatever we have on hand or whatever I'm feeling like. So this time I added pecans, and I also added apricots. I didn't know how we were going to like that, but it actually turned out so good. And I used apple pie spice along with it, and I feel like the combination of the apricots and the apple pie spice, it just made it so tasty. And we like bigger chunks of granola, not like really flaky granola. So we like the bigger clusters of it, and it's so good that way. But I could never get my granola that way until I tried this recipe. And I think some of the key ingredients that make her recipe chunky is the flour. We put all-purpose flour in it, as well as egg whites. So I think that really helps. And also I think when you're cooking it, if you don't like stir it around too much and just kind of try to flip it while you're cooking instead of like stirring, I think that makes a big difference as well. But our chickens are finally laying eggs again, and we have been able to collect them. If we go out there earlier enough in the day, the turkeys haven't gotten to them yet. So we have 2 turkeys left. We're going to be harvesting them anytime. It's quite a big job, and my husband does most of it. I like to cook the turkey, and him and the boys will, clean it and defeather it and all that stuff. And yeah, it's been a lot. I'm not sure we'll do turkeys again. They eat so much food. They're so messy, and it's just, I don't know if it's worth the cost by the time you get the turkey. The one thing that I do think is worth it is the amount of bone broth you get from a turkey. It is so much. I think I got like 8 quarts last time when I made bone broth. So that was definitely worth it, because turkey bone broth, if you buy organic turkey bone broth, it's so expensive. So making it from home is definitely the way to go. And if you have turkey carcass and turkey bones, you get so much. So right there, I'm just putting the apricots in my food processor, and it turned out pretty good. There were a couple big pieces left, and I just threw that in the bowl for the chickens and the turkeys to gobble up, and they will love it. They love all of our food scraps. One thing we do still want to try on our homestead is getting pigs. At first, we were going to get a type of pig. I think they're American Guineas. And the reason why I think we've decided not to get that breed, even though they're great for small homesteaders, is that they take like 2 years in order to be done. And I would rather have something that's faster so that we don't have to go out and, clean the pen and feed them in the cold winter. As you can see outside on my deck right here, we have a bunch of snow. We're in Michigan, and we really don't warm up until like May. And even in May, sometimes it's really cold still. So I would like to get a breed of pigs that is just in the spring, and then by the time fall comes around, they're ready to be processed. That would be ideal. But look at how good this granola turned out. So amazing. I am so excited to kind of have found this combination. But while I was getting the egg whites, I had a couple of yolks. Sometimes I'll just give them to the dogs, but today I decided to make some homemade mayo. Homemade mayo is so easy. If you're not making your mayo at home, you just have to do it, have to try it. It tastes way better, and the ingredients are so simple. So it's just a little dash of mustard, a teaspoon of salt, a little bit of lemon juice, and then I did add 2 eggs. So I'm making a double batch, but all you need is an egg, salt, mustard, lemon juice, and then oil. And then I'll just fill up the oil, since I'm using 2 eggs, to the 2-cup line. And then all you need is an immersion blender. The key to making homemade mayo is that everything is room temperature. If something is extra cold, it's not going to work. And then also keeping your immersion blender at the bottom of the container until you know that it's mayo at the bottom. I've lifted the immersion blender up too soon so many times, and then you're just left with this liquid, and it's not mayo, and it's really hard to kind of fix that mistake when it happens. So I just am really patient and leave my blender down until I can kind of hear the sound change where it's not liquid anymore and it's become thick mayo. And my husband is always amazed by this when I make it, because it's like, how does that even happen? It just emulsifies somehow. It's very scientific, but it looks so good, and I will leave this recipe down below too. You guys have to try it. It's so yummy. And the next recipe I'm going to make is protein balls. It has a lot of the same ingredients as the granola, so I'm just going to use the same bowl. This huge bowl is awesome. My mother-in-law got it for me for Christmas, and I use it for big recipes like this when I'm making protein balls or granola, or even when I'm making a bunch of sourdough. So last week I made 6 loaves of sourdough, and this bowl was perfect for that. So these protein balls have become a favorite in our house. I always have them on hand pretty much. Like if we run out, I'm making a new batch right away. But it's just another one of those recipes that is a base recipe, and then you can customize it. So its base is oats, protein powder, honey, and chocolate chips. But you can customize it. Like I like to add a little bit of vanilla. I like to add salt. I put some pecans in there. I do maple syrup as well as honey and peanut butter. Sorry, that's actually part of the base. Did I say that? So it's oats, protein powder, peanut butter, and honey, and then chocolate chips. I'll have it all typed down below exactly how I do it. But then I like to add extra stuff to make it just a little bit more jazzed up. So I'll add raw pecans, and I also like to add our little triple threat. I don't know what to call it, but it's like our favorite seed combo that we add to so many things. It's hemp seeds, chia seeds, and flax seeds. We'll add those to like our pancake mixes, our muffin mixes, our smoothies. Sometimes we'll just mix it with water and chug it down when you're needing some extra fiber. So that's like our favorite little trifecta right there. Chia seeds, hemp seeds, and flax seeds. So I'll add a sprinkle of those into the protein balls as well. And it just makes it like a really hearty snack that actually fills you up and leaves you satiated. It's like a little treat. It will curb your sweet tooth, and it's just so good. So you guys have to try it. I always mix them with gloves on because they're such a sticky mess, and I don't like having like peanut butter and honey like stuck under my nails. That's so weird and gross. And I also just find it way less sensory overload when I can just mix it up with gloves on. Sometimes I will put all the ingredients in the bowl, and then I'll just have one of my kids form the balls and shape them. They always like to help me in the kitchen, and don't worry, I don't have this time carved out where I'm not doing any magic thing with my kids and they're not just sitting perfectly still reading a book. The reason why the sound is off and I'm doing a voiceover instead is because they are loud. In a house with 6 kids, 4 of them being boys, things get very loud in here. And they were definitely running around in the kitchen behind me and tripping over the tripod, and some of them were shirtless or in their diaper. So I just cut that stuff out, and there's definitely pauses where I have to do something to take care of them, change a diaper, get a snack, comfort somebody that got whacked by their brother, the usual mom type stuff. But these protein balls turned out so good, and it makes me want to eat one right now, and I probably will as soon as I'm done filming this voiceover. So I will have that recipe down below as well. You already know the drill. Next, I'm making our favorite sourdough crackers. So if you are into sourdough, you will love this recipe. I always have so much sourdough. I just make a ton of it because I know that there are so many good recipes that you can use the sourdough discard in. So these are kind of like our homemade Cheez-Its. The kids go crazy over them. It's just flour and sourdough discard. So I did 2 cups of each. And then I did 1/2 cup of olive oil, 1 teaspoon of salt, and then a tablespoon of seasoning, and I think I did like at least 1 cup of cheese, maybe a little bit of more, the shredded cheese. But the seasonings that I added today are garlic, onion, and then I used that like 21 seasoning that I get from Costco. I think you can get it at Trader Joe's too. But you can customize these crackers too. Like you can use any type of cheese that you like. You could use mozzarella. You could use pepper jack. I don't know. You could really customize them how you want. And then you can use whatever seasoning you want too. So I've used everything bagel seasoning. That's really good. But this special combination really just tastes like Cheez-Its. And that's what I call them. And the kids go crazy over them. So we just mixed that up, knead it a little bit so everything's nice and incorporated and mixed up. And then we roll it out. And that is kind of like the key to making sourdough crackers, is making sure that the dough is rolled out very thinly. The more thin you go, the crispier they're going to be. So when you have a cracker, you definitely want it crispy. You don't want it like flatbread. So I just make sure to roll it nice and thin, and you can use any type of shape you want. You could roll it out and then just slap it on the cookie tray and bake it just like this, and you're ready to go, and it will crisp up, and then you can kind of just break them up after they're done baking. Or what I like to do for the kids specifically is use a cookie cutter. I think this is like the middle of a donut cutter. But we have different shapes that I thought I might try. I bought like a bunch of like animal characters to try to make homemade animal crackers. I still haven't done that yet, but we could do that for these cheesy ones too. I just thought of that. But the kids really like these little tiny ones, and I think it's really good for like especially the toddlers. It just makes it fun. So I'm just using that to cut out little circles. This is quite time consuming. It's way easier to just roll it out, slap it on the cookie sheet, and bake it like that, and then break them apart afterwards. That's what I normally do. But ever since I've made the little circle ones, the kids definitely request that instead. And it's so much fun to, it's almost like little oyster crackers, like little sourdough oyster crackers. They're good in soup. They're just good as a snack. And they're easy to take on the go as well. My daughter wants me to make a whole container of them so that we never run out. And I might just have to do that. I'd like to try to make more homemade snacks. I kind of go in phases. I feel like I'll buy them, just packaged snacks like goldfish and all the other stuff that's pre-packaged and not super good for you. And then I'll go in phases where I want to make them everything homemade. It's just, I guess it depends on the season you're in, whether you're, really, really busy or going through something hard. So either way, I think as long as your kids are fed and you're trying your best to do healthy things for them, it's all good. But these are definitely a favorite around here. So you definitely have to try these. They were all gone by the time we were done filming this. So here's them before they're going in the oven, and here's them after. And then, they're just like these cute little crispy little crackers. So delicious. And like I said, they were gone before I even finished making dinner. So now it is time to make dinner, and I am making a turkey dumpling soup. It starts with the 3 ingredients for pretty much every soup: celery, onions, and carrots. I found that making soup for little kids, they enjoy it best when the vegetables are cut really small. So cutting the celery into tiny, tiny little squares, and then chopping the carrots until they're really tiny, and even the onion too. I feel like when you have big chunks of onion and celery, the kids aren't into it and they notice it more. And when it's small, they just eat it and they love the flavor. So that is what I'm getting prepped first. All of the vegetables, and getting those into a pot with half a stick of butter and kind of cooking those down. This recipe is from another YouTube channel that I watch, Hopewell Heights. She's got the best recipes. Every recipe of hers I've tried, I've loved. And I also love her YouTube channel. This is not a collaboration or anything, but I genuinely just love her channel. She's like goals when it comes to, home cooking and all that. So you should check her out and let her know that I sent you. I'll leave a link down below for her. So this turkey soup is her recipe. Well, this is turkey. You can make it chicken too if you'd like. But I have so much turkey from recently harvesting our turkeys. So I made it into turkey soup. This is a great one for turkey leftovers on Thanksgiving and all that. So I'll leave her channel down below. Go check her out. This onion chopper is so convenient. My mother-in-law got me this as well. And it just makes little tiny pieces of onions that the kids don't even notice. It's like the best for making pico de gallo. You can cut potatoes really small and they fry up so good. So I highly recommend getting one of these Vidalia onion choppers. So here's it in the pot with the butter just simmering away. I added a bunch of garlic as well as these frozen peas. I'm just cooking that for about 10 minutes until it's all kind of like simmering down. Here's some of that turkey bone broth that I made from our turkey carcass. If I don't have time to actually can the turkey broth, I just put it in the freezer in Ziploc bags. And it's a really convenient way to do it. Then I added about a 1/4 cup of flour to the vegetables and stirred that up. That's going to be used to thicken the soup. And just let that cook for maybe a little 5 minutes. Here's the dumplings that I'm using. So these are also Stephanie's dumpling recipe from Hopewell Heights. And whenever I'm making biscuits, I will use some of the biscuit dough and just cut them into dumplings and put them in the freezer. That way I pretty much always have dumplings, because we make biscuits at least once a week. And then I'll always have dumplings to add to whatever soup that I'm making. Then I'm adding up 6 cups of chicken. I actually did this out of order. According to a recipe, you put the dumplings in first and then the meat, but either way it worked out. And I think I need to get a bigger pot, because whenever I make this recipe, it just overflows. And I was cleaning my stove this morning because it spilled all over. And I actually had a little part of the video that I cut out because my stove was basically on fire when it dripped off the side. But look how delicious that looks. It is so, so good. Best dumpling soup recipe I've ever had. We've made it so many times. Then we add a little bit of heavy cream and then a bunch of cheese, about 2 cups. It just makes the best creamy, thick soup. It's so good, you guys. You have to try this recipe. If you like any type of chicken soup or chicken and dumplings, this is the best. So, so good. I hope you guys enjoyed this video today and coming along and cooking with me for my large family. If you did, give this video a thumbs up and jump down into the comments and let me know which recipe you're gonna try. Or if you have a new recipe that you think I should try, leave that for me as well. Don't forget to check out DS1 Daily Symbiotic Prebiotic and Probiotic Supplement. It is a game changer for your gut health, and I know you guys will love it. The link is down in the description, and you can use my code THISMAMA for 25% off your first order. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.